Welcome to the Hindsight podcast, where we visit past dramas that have plagued the community and offer clarity on the situation. I'm your host of this podcast, Exotic, and with me we have Party 117.
Yo, what's up, y'all?
And also with me we have Mike the Bike.
What's good, everybody?
Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Love the energy on this one, okay. And also with me, though, we have Twitter artist at Presnia on Twitter, aka Squatchin.
Hello, everybody.
It's good to be here again to talk about this amazing drama that we're going to be covering today. 2-year-old drama this summer, right? So, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite parody channel, TwizzFizz.
Who?
Who's that? I don't know who that is. I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, who are we actually talking about today?
Who?
Yeah, kind of forgettable channel.
As FouseyTube once said, who?
Who? Kind of forgettable channel, right? But we're going to be going over things because she got into quite of a big drama that happened, but it didn't last very long. So here's what happened though, right? So TwizzFizz was still is actually, a parody channel that posts these sketch comedy skits, and she would parody like situations similar to would YouTubers get into controversies. She would make fun of Jeffree Star's apology. She would post about H3H3's content nuke on Keemstar, parody Keemstar himself and Tommy C. She'd do parodies of all these different people, which got her a lot of popularity, and that caused her to get propped up by Tommy C. She presented herself as one of the boys. People really liked her.
She kind of like got into like a bit of a back and forth with Nick and John Swan, and then that kind of snowballed into her kind of crying about like them and saying that they were trying to cancel her when that wasn't the case at all. They were just kind of poking fun at her a little bit. You know, they were kind of, she said she wanted to be one of the boys. She said that to Tommy C, I believe, but when it came time to be one of the boys, she couldn't handle it, and she kind of flipped out about it. And that kind of led to her just kind of, I wouldn't say she was exiled from the community in the same way as like other people we've talked about was, but she was kind of just ignored by the community. People were like, yeah, we don't really want to work with you anymore because you're kind of cringe now.
People started to really see through TwizzFizz and be like, hey, look, this person who we thought was really cool is actually like really sensitive and gets offended over the things that we do. So she left. Nobody wanted her back. Nobody liked her. And that's kind of like how TwizzFizz ended up falling apart. And now she's just off on her own. And her views reflect that too. So
she seldomly passes 1K views.
Yeah, her views are about the same as an average Exotic 2 video. So yeah. And I have like 30 subs, so
yeah, her channel's basically dead.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, her channel is a dead channel.
Pretty much. I mean, Exotic mentioned this on a previous take. This is actually our 15th take. So
Yeah, you lost count like 20 takes ago there, buddy.
Yeah, this we're about 4 hours in the making here.
You better appreciate this, chat.
yeah, man, this has been a long, so you guys better like and subscribe.
You better share this podcast, or I swear to
Like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. You know the spiel. You know what to do. I believe in you. Just click that bell. Click that bell, you guys. I know you can.
Like Exotic said, basically, that me and her, we have similar numbers, but the difference is that she has 10 times the amount of subscribers that I do.
Yeah, it's very disappointing to see a channel like as TwizzFizz side just fall off from grace that heavily too. Especially when she's getting propped up by like Tommy C and like Keemstar, and was kind of cool with like the bigger YouTubers that we watched like today, right?
Yeah, imagine wasting a shout out from Keemstar. I couldn't imagine another YouTuber that we might talk about in the future that has done that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Rip TwizzFizz, maybe if you stop being a bitch, people will like you more. Or maybe you are a bitch already.
Oh, okay.
Admittedly, I'll be upfront. I did like her at first because I thought she was cool. I thought she was one of the boys. So I did show her my support at first, but then when her true colors came out, I was like, you're cringe. I don't like you anymore.
But yeah, how this happened though is very interesting. It's kind of funny too. So Tommy C decided to conduct an interview with TwizzFizz where he basically allowed her to have a platform for herself, right? But things started to get a little bit interesting when Tommy C brought up the dynamics between men and women, because guys don't know, TwizzFizz is a woman, and they had this really big disagreement with each other, where Tommy C was basically explaining like, look, okay, you as a woman cannot be friends with me on the same level of like one of the guys will. And his take comes from the fact that like, look, when men and women interact with each other, there's always like this aspect of each other that can't level in the same way. Whereas like when you're with your boys, you tend to like talk about things that are a little bit more, I guess, problematic, as TwizzFizz would call Tommy C later on. As well as the fact that when you're not engaging with women in that sort of way, that also leads to less like Me Too type of allegations, where you have, you know, these sort of allegations where you get accused of talking inappropriately with women, you know, in private, obviously. If we do this in a public setting, which is what Tommy C would recommend for himself, then you don't get accused of that.
Yeah.
TwizzFizz really disagreed with Tommy C's take on this thing and said that Tommy C's opinion of this divides men and women more, and it causes more like separation between them. And they had a really big disagreement with that. And then TwizzFizz called Tommy C's opinion problematic. Well, I don't know about you guys, but every time someone says that word problematic, it literally gives me like to like 2016, 2017, like SJW vibes. Like,
1000%. I see where Tommy's coming from, but I think his take on it is like way too extreme. I think you do, as a man, if you're interacting with a woman and you're not like on friendly levels with her, if you're working like on a business level, you need to be very careful about how you speak to them. Because yeah, there are times where things have been taken out of context and used against other people, and that has ended up getting the guy in trouble and stuff like that. That does happen all the time. But I don't think, like, Tommy's take was like, you can't be friends with women, especially like if you're married or this and that. And I think, or if you have like a significant other, I think that's not right. I think you totally can be friends with any gender. But I also think it is silly to act like men and women are the same. It's definitely not true.
well, I actually kind of agree with Tommy C on this one. I'm not going to lie. I think that if you're like in a relationship with someone, especially if you're like husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, I think you have that like level of commitment to them, where if you go and hang out with like your female friends or male friends, it's kind of like disrespectful. It's just disrespectful. And now my opinion is like completely like out the window if you're like single and you're doing this type of stuff, because I don't really care about people like ruining other people's relationships. I think that's like kind of like we're diving into like weird territory where you have to like be careful about how other people handle their relationships. I think it's more only about like you should just look out for yourself. If you're single and you don't really have any ties to anybody, you want to make friends that are girls like that, I mean, shoot, go for it, right? But if you're in a relationship, then I mean, that's just my opinion, but like I think that you shouldn't be doing that type of shit though.
Yeah, your priority should be your other half. How it is with me in my relationship, like when we're talking in call about stuff and my husband comes in the room, I mute. I don't care what's going on in the conversation. My focus is on him.
Well, Squatchin, I was about to ask you, because you're actually married.
Yes.
So I was wondering about like, how would you feel if your husband were to have like a female best friend that he were to like hang out with?
It would depend on how I felt about that person. Like if I felt I could trust that person, right?
Okay. For like a general sense, if you don't really know this person, you don't have any like positive ideas or negative ideas, do you think that would be like something that's like okay in your opinion?
Not alone.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
not alone. Nope.
That's kind of like how it is. Well, because Tommy was saying about like, oh, well, it's okay in like a social setting if we were like working with them, right? But kind of like a lone one-on-one type of thing.
There's a big difference between hanging out one-on-one and working with someone. Like a massive difference.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I kind of view things myself, honestly.
I honestly think we need to break the gender norms and just let men and women do whatever they want behind closed doors, no matter what.
Okay, I'm still gonna conduct myself the same. I don't know.
I would like that to happen, but, you know, we live in the real world. This type of bullshit always happens, right? So
yeah.
Based. Absolutely based.
But yeah, that caused like a really big discussion between those two, and I think that that's where like the first sign of like TwizzFizz's character was really shown. You know, she had this discussion with Tommy, and Tommy was being really respectful with TwizzFizz actually in this discussion.
He was incredibly respectful.
But you know, obviously she was trying to say like, oh, I think your views are problematic. No, it wasn't even him trying to be mean or against women or TwizzFizz herself too, or trying to like tell people how to live their lives. It was just kind of him just explaining his thought process and going through that in a respectful manner too. But, not to TwizzFizz though. To him, Tommy C was basically just like preaching on Twitter about how people should run their lives and, all this other shit. Yeah, she got offended by that though. But, that stream kind of ended off right there. And he ended the stream shortly after their discussion finished. And he was like, all right, wrap things up. After Tommy C's interview, about like a month later, TwizzFizz got into a drama with John Swan where they had a pretty like weird back and forth over COVID. Now I'll pull this up for you guys right now, actually.
Crawl into it.
Yeah, so it's a good thing to remind you guys that this is like pre-Liar. John Swan pre-Gone Swan, right? So like
John Swan, more like John's gone, got him.
Gone Swan.
I miss Gone Swan.
At this time, John was still pretty cool with everyone. So he's talking about COVID, and he quote tweeted someone else about this, talking about how basically like Australia and New Zealand were going about COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really talk about this necessarily with like TwizzFizz. She kind of actually jumped into the conversation.
Hello? What's going on with my mic? Hello?
Hey, party.
Hello.
Okay, something went with my mic there. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, party. I know you like your racing games, but we're trying to do a podcast right now.
Yeah, put the controller down there, homie, and stay on task.
I'm not playing anything is the problem.
Stay on task, party.
I have Discord on my monitor.
All right.
Alright.
All right, hype up. Get yourself hyped up, party, because this is John Swan's take on COVID.
Let's fucking go. Where are the talkies?
Alrighty.
So this whole thing ended up starting out by some girl named Mia, where she tweets out, New Zealand were fast to act and had some of the strictest lockdown rules in the world. Today, they reopen and look almost back to normal. Crazy what happens when you have a government that puts the welfare of its citizens before profit. Then John Swan quote tweets this saying, lol, along with a screenshot from SBS News saying, COVID-19, New Zealand reports 5 new cases. Sounds German ends up responding to John Swan's tweet saying, I mean, they do this for 4 total cases and went 3 months without a single one. Guess how it'll be there in 2 weeks again. Okay, go ahead, party.
Missing the point. NZ was praised for their approach by many, but they're having a second wave just like everyone else. Elimination does not work. You can try to eliminate it. I just think it doesn't work, especially at such a large scale. One person with the virus comes in, and you have to start all over again. You have to take a measured approach like with everything in politics.
Yeah, so that was John Swan's take on the situation. And TwizzFizz kind of just chimes in there and does like a pretty hefty jab at John Swan's content. So let's look at that.
I think trying to end Chris Hansen or Susie Liu's career with hour-long takedown vids doesn't work either, but here you are, still trying.
So yeah, kind of like she kind of just threw fucking dirt in his eye, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for real.
She was coping. She was hard coping.
She was hard coping, actually, and that caused John Swan to get confused and say this back.
John Swan replies to TwizzFizz saying, when did I ever say that's what my videos were, lol? Strange equivalence. I truly think the only solution to this is a vaccine. Humans. Not everyone is going to follow the rules, so you're always going to have cases pop up all over again. It's a sad world we live in.
And that resulted in John Swan getting blocked by TwizzFizz.
You're blah.
He didn't even go hard at her. He could have been like,
light.
yeah, in your comedy, he could have been like, your parody is supposed to make people laugh, but they don't accomplish that either. Like, he could have gone hard on her, but he didn't. He was, by the way, I have to say, people always joke saying she looked like Max Mofo. And she really does, honestly.
She's like woman Max Mofo, true.
She also has a big ass head, fat head. Anyways,
Good lord.
let me put aside the ad hominems. He makes a perfectly valid point. If you're trying to totally stop the virus, like the way New Zealand and Australia were handling it, that is not going to work, because the only way to get through it is through vaccines. What you're supposed to do, and America didn't do it, I'm going to say as an America didn't do it the best way either, but the goal is to curve it curve the or what is it called, to
Flatten the curve.
flatten the curve, right?
Yeah.
You cannot full on stop it, right?
No.
But if you put some restrictions, allow people to keep doing their jobs, that way your economy doesn't break down completely, and you just keep everything going, but you make sure all of the people that are susceptible to the virus and could die safe, then you flatten the curve. Now, America did do that, not the best way possible, but also you didn't have crazy spikes like places like Australia and New Zealand did.
Like, the whole point of flattening the curve is to make it so you don't have people being pushed for other surgeries like heart surgeries, kidney transplants, and shit like that, because they ended up all dying in the fucking waiting rooms.
Yeah, and then the government wrote it as COVID death. Okay, no, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, you want to continue that?
Well, I mean, if COVID weren't around, they would still be around too. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We don't believe in, by the way, we don't believe in COVID conspiracies here.
No.
Yeah, YouTube, don't shut us down.
Although, I do have to say, Joe Biden has been kind of sussy-wussy recently.
Oh, okay.
I think they call that dementia.
True.
But yeah, no, it's honestly a good point that you brought up, Mike. Like, John Swan really didn't go hard on TwizzFizz. He kind of responded to her in like a serious way, because honestly, he probably could have tried to clap back at her and be like, your content sucks too, lol, right? But he really didn't. He responded to her in like a pretty normal way, and that resulted in him getting blocked.
Yeah, he was hella fair.
Like, how thin-skinned do you have to be that someone disagrees with you, and not even, like, in a crazy way, right? And you block them. See, like, I don't always think posting that someone blocked you is an own. Like, if you're legitimately being unhinged and someone blocks you for that, that's not an own, right? But if you're being pretty reasonable and just arguing with someone, and then they block you, that's an own. Like, for example, I've got into many political arguments on Twitter before. When they finally resort to the "you're white" card, and I do the "I'm actually brown" card, and they block me for that, that's an own.
Yeah.
Because they just ended up being retarded.
Yeah, I'm still proud of my Hansen block, I'm not gonna lie.
Based.
Retweet one tweet and I get blocked.
No, Hansen, big celebrity, getting mad because people are criticizing him. It's an own when he blocks you.
Yeah, little 20 follower squatching over here.
I wonder if he still has me blocked.
And that's exactly why TwizzFizz ended up blocking John Swan, because she actually did get offended by what he had to say about COVID. And, you know, she did kind of start this, if we're being honest with you here, right?
Yeah.
She came at him and tried to, like, make fun of his content. He didn't, you know, get aggressive back and call out her content too. He responded to her in a pretty polite way, and she got offended, and he got blocked by TwizzFizz. And that started a lot of this drama that we're going to see now here too. Because then after this, they actually ended up making parodies on each other, where TwizzFizz did a parody on John Swan, and John Swan did a parody on how TwizzFizz does parodies. And the only thing that I have to say is a little bit of a kind of an on John Swan's parody, because when John Swan gets to like Tommy C, he's just screaming, being like, women are not allowed in the community, right?
That is no. What do you mean? His portrayal of Tommy's hilarious when he's like, never mess with Nicholas DeOrio. That shit was fucking hilarious. What do you mean?
Oh, that's just funny too, but like that's so out of character for Tommy C to say that, right? I mean, Tommy C is the same guy. Dude, he has like Stardust, and he's like, oh, Stardust is like so beautiful, and she's awesome, she's great, right?
Well, that was before the Stardust
or
stuff.
Jessica Pizzle, let me lick her, you know what? Dude, Tommy C would love more women to come around in the community. What the fuck is he talking about?
For real.
I think though both of those events happened after the TwizzFizz stuff.
Yeah. Because I remember those moments and I wasn't here for TwizzFizz.
I mean, they did come after TwizzFizz, the whole events that I was referring to, but it's still part of Tommy C's characterization, though.
What?
He loves women.
How can it be part of his characterization if you don't know that's part of his characterization?
It's Tommy. Of course he loves women. If he didn't, he'd be gay.
Yeah, he does love women, too.
Yes, but the point is... Okay, you're missing the point. The point is that John Swan is portraying the way TwizzFizz sees these people. So if TwizzFizz thinks that Tommy C is a woman hater, then he has to be portrayed as a woman hater.
Yo, that's so smart.
Did you not realize that? Yeah.
No, that's exactly it, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, John Swan, you know, he might be a liar, but man, guy did a good ass parody.
Dude, yeah, he actually just like 40 Chester, like holy shit. He didn't just parody her, he parodied her opinions of the commentary community.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. That's fucking crazy.
It's pretty based, honestly.
That's pretty base, bro. I know he's like a liar, right? But like, you know.
John lied, people died.
But this is pre-liar Swan, okay? So he's actually cool this time.
Never mess with Nicholas DeOrio.
Actually, he had already lied. It just wasn't out yet.
Oh, that's good point. Yeah, he did lie. He did lie.
Oh, true. Oh, yeah, that was happening at the same time.
Just Nick didn't expose him yet.
Timeline's crazy, man.
Yeah, this is like pre like dream situation. This is pre Cammy, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
The Cammy situation is so embarrassing, but that's a time for another. That's a time for another episode.
Yeah. That's a different story on its own too.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, she could have easily handled this situation, but she was just, she had a woman moment.
So this was actually on August 12th, 2020 when this went down, right? So a day later, actually, TwizzFizz would then go on Twitter and express her frustrations with the commenter community, and specifically talk about the sexism issue within the commentary community.
Wait, there's sexism in Augie's community? That's crazy.
Presnia.
Yeah.
aka Squatchin, why don't you go ahead and read these ones out?
Jokes aside, an annoying thing.
Sorry.
Fuck. Tell me to read something, then he takes it away.
You're sabotaging her.
Sorry.
Dude, he built you up just to tear you down.
For real! Like, what the fuck? TwizzFizz was right.
Shit.
I built you up just to tear you down. It was all a conspiracy theory just to tear Squatchin down.
Rip.
Jokes aside, an annoying thing about the commentary community is the amount of really aggressive, sexist comments I get from their audience whenever I interact with them. I can deal with it, but I think a lot of guys don't even notice, then ask why there's no women in the space. Obviously, there's a huge difference between memeing and actual super aggressive hate, and I'm just talking about the latter. I don't expect anything to change, but I would like other commentators to know that there's a huge reason more girls aren't here.
This tweet here shows her ignorance, because if you're in the community, you know that most of the woman stuff is like a joke. The woman moment thing is obviously, like, it's all jokes. I'm sure there are some actual sexists in the community, but I don't think the vast majority of us actually hate women. Like, I don't hate Squatchin, for example,
No.
right?
Like, I've never felt that way. I've never felt like I was being targeted because I'm a woman. And I've been there for, 2 years now?
Yeah, if you actually look at the people in the community, this is actually a pretty inclusive community. We have trans people in the community. There's been multiple people in the community that have actually come out as trans. And every single time, the community is open arms, welcome with them. Because it's all jokes. She says jokes aside at the start of this tweet, which shows that she doesn't, that's even more, shows to it, because she doesn't realize the stuff she's talking about are, for the most part, jokes. I'm not denying that she probably did get actual hate comments, but if she can't differentiate between the hate comments and the jokes, that's kind of on her. And on top of that, she's like, oh, guys don't even notice, and then ask why there's no women in the space. First of all, no one's asking why there isn't any women in the space. Second of all, there's plenty of women in the space. Augie's ratio of how many women he actually has in his community.
I thought you were about to say Augie's a woman.
Augie's a woman, but the amount of women that are actually in Augie's audience would actually surprise you, considering how much of the incel persona, or maybe it's not a persona, whatever you want to believe it is.
Yeah.
How much of an incel Augie is. He has I think he has 25-30% of an audience viewership.
Thank you, Edwin, by the way.
So TwizzFizz just doesn't even know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that too. You know, Edwin's community has a lot of women in it too.
That's how I found the RFC community. Well, I mean, through Creepshow, but we don't talk about that.
I don't know every single interaction she ever had, but I almost never saw anyone be unironically sexist towards her.
Yeah.
Right? I was even starting to watch her streams, because I was actually supporting her, because I was like, oh, she does make pretty funny parodies, and she seems like a cool person. So I was actually starting to go into her streams, and never in her streams did I see anyone make any unironically sexist comments towards her. Nothing more than the usual. And if there was anything that was a joke that was sexist, she was laughing about it. I can say that I'm not saying she's lying, but I'm saying I definitely didn't see it at all.
I know it exists, but once again, I've never experienced it myself. Or at least I've never felt like it was an attack.
And maybe you have actually gotten those comments, but the fact of the matter is like, even if you did get them, you probably took them as a joke anyways.
Oh, 100%. I turned around and meme right back at them.
And like, she's a creator in here. There are female commentators, not a lot of them, but it's like the same. I find it so weird when people are like, maybe it says something about the community that there's not more female commentators. Maybe it says something that most women probably don't want to do commentary.
Yeah.
You know, whoa, why isn't there more female plumbers? Probably because most women don't want to be plumbers.
Yeah, who wants to wade in shit and have plumber crack? Like, what the fuck?
It's like there's a reason why there are different demographics for things. There's a reason why most teachers are women. I mean, we're not going to get deep into this topic, but like people say like there's no difference between male and female. There's plenty of differences, both psychologically and physically. The proof is in the career choices that those genders pick. I'm sure there are women out there that want to be janitors or plumbers. I'm sure there are women that are like, hey, I'll actually do that. But that's not the vast majority. And in the same way, we do have female commentators. We have Melly P. She's pretty good, actually. She's kind of like a female Kavos, in my opinion.
We got Jessica Pizzle.
Well, yeah.
Jessica Pizzle's basically like the only woman like commentator in our scene.
Yeah.
That I know of. Because I know Squatchin doesn't make content. I was just about to ask that too. Squatchin, do you think that you not receiving that level of like, I guess, misogyny or sexism has to do with maybe the fact that you're not a content creator and you're a Twitter artist?
Maybe. But I mean, I'm making this stuff now, so I kind of count.
I don't think it has to do with, we're not accepting of women doing commentary. There are female commentators. They're not in our immediate community, but there are plenty of them that do the same content that, the people that we watch do. It's just not something that most, like, okay, why is the vast majority of makeup channels gay guys and women? That's what they want to do.
They have experience with that. You don't see me doing lipstick tutorials because I don't know how to put on lipstick.
Honestly, based after what we're going to get into, I want to say that this is her trying to like paint a narrative and play victim. But we'll get into like why I think that in a second though. But here we have some of the responses from the commentary community, including our favorite Josh, Bo Blacks.
Sonic Josh, let's go.
Bo Blacks goes to say, I know it's an issue. I just don't know how to fix it beyond not participating in it myself.
And TwizzFizz responds with, I think a fair few channels fall into the trap of only showing their criticisms for girls, which are valid, but never showing support for any. I can't read that. Exotic, can you make that bigger? I'm old.
Oh, okay, sorry. There you go.
Thank you. I think a fair few channels fall into the trap of only showing their criticisms for girls, which are valid, but never showing support for any. Just my observation, though.
Typically, commentary channels only make negative videos in general, though. Personally, I can name more female creators I like than dislike, but I don't talk about them on my channel as often because they aren't fucking up.
I totally get that, and I'm not even talking about YouTube so much. Twitter interaction is where most of the hate comes from. Also, for the record, I think you're very balanced.
He's kind of like somewhat agreeing that it's an issue, but at the same time being like, okay, look, we're not necessarily also participating in this ourselves either. So she's just bitching about people just making mean comments, which is just retarded. Because how are you gonna have be a online content creator, like a public figure, and not understand that people are just gonna make fun of you for regardless of whatever it is you look like or who you are or what you do? It's a pretty known thing. I don't know why she's trying to make this such a big virtue signal or whatever the fuck about sexism in the commentary community.
No matter how hard you try, you're never going to please everyone. So getting uppity when someone doesn't agree with you and shit, just don't.
We also do have one more take actually from our boy Cordwood actually.
Shout out to Cordwood. He's a cool guy.
Cordwood's epic.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. We don't really talk about him that much here, but he's around.
He's not fucking up.
He doesn't really get into drama.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's been in a little bit of drama, but we haven't talked about that drama yet.
He's been involved in drama, but he hasn't been the focus of a drama. yet.
Yet. It all happens eventually.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Do not.
Knock, knock.
But hey, Cordwit, if you get into drama, just remember, we'll be there.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
In hindsight.
In hindsight.
In hindsight.
Now, Mike, why don't you go ahead and read this one?
Cordwit, man. It's actually pretty sad in my opinion. It's a shame that as a community, it's mostly comprised for white males. Else, it might not be quite like this. Obviously, I'm not one to talk, but it would be great if it was just a little more diverse. No one's talking about diversity. What are you on about, dog?
Dude, Cordwit fucking L, bro. Literally fucking dimwit, bro. Nitwit looking ass, dude.
Cordwit more like dimwit.
I know. What kind of take is that, bro? Like,
I do like Cordwit, but that's a bad take.
yeah, no, Cordwit's a cool guy, but this is definitely like a stupid thing that like he wants to say that this community is comprised for mostly like white males. And I disagree with that actually. Like, okay.
Augie's Asian.
Okay, yeah, yes, okay. But if you just say like Mike the Bike who's on this podcast is not a white male, Squatchin is a woman in this call, I'm a narwhal, and from what I understand from interacting with all these people in the community as someone who came and like post this, and these people who have been here for a pretty long time, there's a lot of diverse people that I've interacted with on Twitter in this community, in the commentary community, the RFC community, from Shop From The Point. I've met like so many people who are like trans, black, autistic. I mean, I don't really know what he's talking about.
I think he's talking about creators. Like the big creators. You get Tommy is white and a male. Nick is white and a male. John Swan. I think that's what he's talking about.
This is such a cucked take. First of all,
Oh my god.
no, honestly, one of the biggest people in our group is Tipster. Tipster is like was like the biggest of them, and I think he still has a really big channel. And he's not white; he's brown.
Edwin's generation, too.
He's a brown man. Edwin's generation, brown man. All right. You've got other people too that were. I mean, TwizzFizz was getting huge shout outs, and if she didn't step over herself like a retard, she probably would be way bigger now in the community and would be a female. Unless she transitioned. I don't know what it is.
The only female we had was Creepshow, and that's another story.
Yeah, Creepshow was in the community, but there's people that are like do commentary, but they're not really in the community. But there's like Melly B, I think is her name. She's pretty cool. Tamimi as well. Tamimi was pretty cool too. And then there's what's that chick? She did a video on Stardust. Lieutenant Mayhem, she's super cool. Lieutenant Mayhem's super cool. Love that girl.
You're forgetting about Neon Caffeine.
I don't know who that is.
Another story for another day.
But he's saying it's compromised for white males. When the fact of the matter is most, like, yeah, the big creators, I mean, yeah, you can think of like Kavos and Keemstar and I'm Alex. They're all white males.
Hey, Keemstar is 9% African.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, see, he's black.
Nick is Sicilian. Augie is Asian. Boblax is Canadian.
But the point is like, what community are you specifically talking about? Are you talking about the commentary community as a whole? In the context of TwizzFizz is talking about, I feel like she's talking about the community that she was brought into, which would include Tommy, Nick, Augie, Boblax, Tipster, Cordwit himself, although he wasn't that big yet, John Swan, and then Edwin, which I don't know if he was as in with us as he is now.
It was right around there.
Yeah, it was right around this time. But the thing is yeah, by numbers, there's more white male creators, but by size, the biggest guys in that group of people are Tipster and Edwin, who are both Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a beta take. Oh my god. Cordwit, the W I just gave you, I'm taking it back. We'll give it back to you at the end of the episode, but we're holding it for the rest of this episode.
Oh, why are you gonna be so mean to him?
The moment I saw this tweet, I basically knew for a fact that I had to include it in because I was like, oh shit, this sounds like you said a cuck take, and yeah, I'll use that term. It's a very cuck take, honestly. To say that this community is basically not has white males, but is comprised for white males.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's the thing, right? So that caused a whole discussion too, because she's obviously trying to like, Tommy C would suggest that she's trying to subtweet about Augie. So she's starting more drama with different creators again too. And this kind of evolved into her and Nick having a back and forth too, which we do have the DM of them talking. It's a pretty interesting discussion. So Mike, why don't you go ahead and read Nick's tweets?
Okay, I would make the argument that you started this publicly with the subtweeting. I'll also say, I think my criticism of, I think Twizz makes subtweets and was serious when she got mad at COVID tweets isn't remotely similar to Nick can't take jokes. Nick is trying anything to cancel me. Nick is creating narratives, and I don't think it's worth interacting with Nick if he's doing willing to say anything to paint me in a bad light. Like, the shit that you said was potentially damaging to my channel if someone's dumb enough to believe that, lol. Did you ignore the 10 plus minutes beforehand I sat there praising your channel? Look, if you're going to play the I'm not talking in DMs card, this clearly isn't worth my time. Lol.
Squatchin?
Make it bigger.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, make it big.
Ew. It felt like you built me up to tear me down. You said a lot of hard-hitting stuff that was solely based on only your own interpretation that could have been potentially damaging to me and my channel. Don't ask me to talk in DMs when you won't talk to me in DMs before you went and said all that. Also, I never went out to attack you. I referenced something I had seen you and others bring up in the past. None of those tweets were a direct sub at you, and the problem is you automatically assumed the worst.
Yeah, see, this is where I would say the drama started to take a little bit more of a serious turn. Because TwizzFizz here, and this is really interesting too, she says that she felt like she was being built up just to be torn down. That's a pretty big accusation to make against somebody. Essentially, she's trying to say that these guys were just trying to like fuck with her basically and kind of ruin her.
Bunch of fucking snakes, yeah.
With Nick's statements towards TwizzFizz in the DMs, he makes it seem like these are TwizzFizz's talking points, right? TwizzFizz is trying to say that, oh, well, Nicholas DeOrio is trying to like create a narrative. And that's a pretty big accusation to make too, as well. Like, this is some pretty serious shit. Like, she's basically trying to say that Nick DeOrio is a liar, basically. And he's trying to like start shit to make TwizzFizz look bad. Now, in my opinion, that's a really heavy hitting thing because that is basically Nick DeOrio's credibility on the line right now. Where in the events that this is true, he's basically bullshitting. And that makes what he said about previous creators also kind of into question as well too. Whether is Nick going to paint the narrative if he gets into a drama, the situation. You see, Nick wasn't even trying to like paint her in a bad light. He was just kind of expressing his frustrations with TwizzFizz because what TwizzFizz was doing at the time, it's just all, parody and satire and shit like that, right? But she was actually being serious about that. And Nick kind of saw through that and he was able to like figure out her bullshit pretty much. And the other thing I wanted to go over too was this whole like DMing business too, because they both kind of do this back and forth about like, well, you're not DMing me. They both kind of do it where it's like, you're not DMing me, right? But the thing about that though is like, I don't think that we need to like DM each other first.
No.
I think that if something is being made public, then it's totally okay to respond to it in a public manner first. I mean, for me, it really feels like TwizzFizz is trying to have like special privileges where if she says like a hot take that the Goon Squad disagrees with, right? They'll basically come out to her in DMs first to kind of talk things over. I don't really kind of fuck with that. What do you guys think about DMing people first?
I think it's stupid because if like a beef begins, it feels like it's supposed to be like head to head, You'd be a bit of a bitch if you went, oh, can I, like, before I post these, like, this tweet about, like, just completely shitting on you, do you mind if I do this real quick? Like, it just sounds like some pussy shit, not gonna lie.
Oh, so like checking in with like the squad before making criticisms about them?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that does depend on how close you are with the person. Like, for example, Exotic, if I had a criticism of you, I would probably bring it to you first, and if you didn't change, then I would make it public. But like, if you're not that close, if you just are both in the same kind of sphere, like how TwizzFizz and Nick were, then there is no reason why either of you need to tweet each other before saying anything publicly, especially if the thing is already public.
Mike, that's an excellent point, actually. And that's kind of why I was trying to reference that TwizzFizz wanted special treatment, because in reality, the only time you do this type of stuff is with your friends. You give your friends that special treatment. But at this point, it's pretty obvious that these guys are not friends with each other.
And you never give women special treatment. Remember that, lads. Never give a woman special treatment.
Nope, don't do it.
That too. That's pretty base as well too. Also, TwizzFizz multiple times kind of refused to talk to people on the stream. Wanted things to be settled privately, but obviously, if TwizzFizz is trying to spin the narrative that Nick is trying to create a narrative, then obviously TwizzFizz doesn't seem like the most trustworthy person to talk to privately. So I think, or unless it's a recorded call, obviously. So probably the best thing you could do is either talk things out publicly or have a recorded call where the audience can hear everything that you're saying from your side. Because of this whole situation with Nick DeOrio unfolding publicly as well too, right? That caused Pescatore to actually reach out to TwizzFizz. They're basically like bitching about this, about Nicholas DeOrio. Because as you know, Pescatore had his issues too, right?
Yeah, he wanted to sexually assault him.
Yeah, he wanted to grease up Nick's cheeks. He wanted to grease up Nick's cheeks, bro.
Test his nut.
He was going to fuck him up a little bit, right? He was going to test his nut.
You need to test that nut, man.
Once again, another story for another time.
By the way, you should check out the 2 parodies Mike the Bike made on Pescatore. It was his very first 2 parodies.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, true. Yeah, that you did do parodies on Pescatore as well, yeah.
Back in the day, man. I want to do Pescatore's voice.
Hey, appreciate you reaching out. Sorry, I never really checked Discord or I would have replied sooner. The whole situation was weird to me. Nick was in my DMs telling me how I could impact his career saying stuff like that, and I should have spoken to him in DMs, but he literally told me the same first. The whole thing has made me want to distance myself from the commentary scene and parody stuff in general, hence why I've been off of Twitter for a bit. I know that probs sound weak AF, but seeing the strong reaction to the woman shit was a lot more than I anticipated, when all I wanted to do was share a frustration about the audience. Haha. I didn't expect anyone to message me about this, so thanks again. I do really appreciate it. Also, Nick really sounds like the psycho in those messages now. Wow.
I want to clarify for anyone that's not following. She literally flipped it. She said what Nick said to her when that's what she was saying to him.
Yeah, let me actually bring that up then if that's the case, because in this case, TwizzFizz is creating the narrative, and she's trying to paint this as like Nick's the psycho in this situation, right? But here's the thing. TwizzFizz was saying about how Nick was complaining to her about how the things that she was saying could impact Nick's career. Now, I think that, sure, you could probably say it's a little whiny, right? Like, oh, you're saying these things about me can impact my career. But I think Nick DeOrio is actually justified. I think that if someone's trying to say that, oh, look, so-and-so is somebody who is going to make you look in the worst light possible. If you engage with this person, they will spin the narrative. They will create narratives accusing you of basically lying. I think that is damaging to someone's reputation and career as a creator.
No, that's not what I'm pointing out. What I'm pointing it out is that she said I should have spoken to him in DMs, but wasn't she the one asking Nick to have spoken to her in DMs first? Yeah, she's flipping it on him is what I'm saying. I think you have the right idea about distancing yourself from that scene. I'm at the point where I'm just done with Nick, Tommy, and Keem after the last Augie stream. I look at this work as entertainment, not some exercise on how to survive petty drama. Also, what career is he talking about? His YouTube career or his IRL job? The ego on this undergrad is...
Yeah, it gets cut off.
Anyways, just wanted to share that and let you know I support you 100%, and I know exactly how you feel, but please don't stop the parodies, ha ha ha!
Yeah, I get that. When they focus on the super petty shit, I feel it takes away from the genuine criticism they give other creators. Like it all seems to sit on the same level for them. I'm just here to have a good time, haha. I don't know, lol. After a while, I just stopped replying to him. Thanks, man. I don't think I could ever just leave the parodies behind, but I do think I'll take a break from it, so I don't go insane with all this.
Wait a minute, hold on. So I was just checking right now. That the leaked call from Pescatore, the one where he's screaming about touching his cheeks and everything, that actually happened 5 days after these DMs.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow. Because I was just about to say, because TwizzFizz is saying about how, like, she's being built up just to be broken down, right? And if there's anybody who's trying to, like, actually use TwizzFizz, it's actually Pescatore, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, and there's the date. Sorry, but there's the date. I'm going to be on break till September 2nd, dude. So we're still waiting on September 2nd to this very day.
We're still waiting.
I know, we're still waiting, dude.
Wait, he was on Fireball.
He was on Fireball as well, too, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the last one. He was Anon's teammate.
So yeah, after that though, TwizzFizz will kind of just do streams here and there about the commentary bros, I guess you could say, and including one deleted video, because TwizzFizz actually did delete a lot of the things that she said about the commentary community. We have this video here, which is just a screenshot because this is gone now, by the way, where it's, she's trying to make fun of Tommy C, Nick DeOrio, right? And that's gone as well too. That got ratioed to shit.
Oh shit, Flamenco's in the call.
Oh shit.
I know, this is how far back things go. We have Flamenco in the call.
Damn, shit's crazy, man. Talk about a time capsule. And Ricky Berwick's there. Dude.
I know, we see all the same people who are there too. We have oh, that chick tries? Yo, it's her.
The chick, Shifty, Luna. Damn, I must have missed the stream. I'm not there. Oh shit, Yuki! Yuki's there when she was still called Yuki. Yuki the Queen.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
there we have that too.
Is she still coping?
And there's that new person that you kind of brought around, Mike. It's that, the chick tries YT.
No, she's been around since then. I just know her. She's just not around as often. She pops up every now and again, but yeah, she's cool. Anyways, back on topic. Sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing all this too. But yeah, TwizzFizz though, no one really gave a shit about what TwizzFizz's opinions on take on this was, basically because they're already getting exposed for trying to paint the narrative in this situation with Nick, and as well as the other guys trying to talk about the commentary community as well too. So yeah, it's important to also know that because of this situation, that really got Tommy upset. Because this is somebody that he was propping up, and he featured in an interviewing her on his stream, on his platform. And he actually, you have to remember, TwizzFizz is Australian too, so he geared the show to be for her time zone as well too. So when this was all happening, obviously he got really upset by this too. So he did a stream kind of exposing a lot of different things about TwizzFizz, right? Where he was talking about, oh yeah, she was subtweeting about Augie and the commentary community, how she does get offended and she does act like an SJW with these in these type of situations, and that whenever TwizzFizz gets criticized, she takes it as these guys are trying to get me, these guys are trying to ruin me, I'm being canceled at this moment right now. The main kind of takeaway from that is okay, look, TwizzFizz is trying to play victim, she's trying to paint the narrative, and she's manipulative as fuck. But luckily no one was buying her bullshit though. And after that though, we had one more person to come out with TwizzFizz though, and that's Mikey Mitch. Before any of this even happened with TwizzFizz and the commentary community, Mikey Mitch actually DM'd Tommy prior to his interview to warn him about her. We have the DM Mikey sent out to Tommy C right here.
Get this woman on your show, but whatever you do, do not say a goddamn thing to her off the air that you do not want others to know. I'll spare the long story, and I know you probably do keep a guard up with that kind of stuff, but make your guard super tight around her.
So during Tommy C's stream going over the TwizzFizz drama, he actually did bring Mikey Mitch on the show to explain himself. And then 2 days later, Mitch would also do his own stream on the subject of TwizzFizz. This is from the Shockmouse podcast, where Mitch actually exposes a lot of the DMs between himself and TwizzFizz. This situation with TwizzFizz and Mikey Mitch actually happened first in early February of that year in 2020, where she started to distance herself from Mitch and his group. On Mitch's stream, he gives a couple of different reasons why TwizzFizz and him stopped being friends. One of the reasons we actually have the DMs of. In the DMs, TwizzFizz was expressing her frustrations with Mitch because from her perspective, it seems as if Mitch would always call his podcast boring and uninteresting when TwizzFizz was on them. Mitch blames this on himself actually and his own lack of prep and apologizes for making her feel that way. But this starts to get real interesting when TwizzFizz starts to complain about some of Mitch's jokes about marriage and uses this as an opportunity to talk about being a woman creator. I said I was open talking to you about it many times, but you just joked how marriage is a prison, how it's funny to fuck with girls, and you made a TikTok about getting divorced. Doesn't paint the best picture of you, man, to be honest. I kinda get real tired of the idea that women are just there to have fun with or tie guys down. Might just be because I'm a woman though, who's had to deal with hearing that shit my whole life. I'm all for jokes and memes, but all this tells me is that they were never jokes from you. Like trying to convince Smeef not to get married, or asking what you can get away with before it's considered cheating. Today's stream just topped it off for me. I always feel like it's a constant battle to be taken seriously as a female comedy creator on here. And I've had to deal with the boys club mentality a lot. Yeah, the prep is on you, but that's not what the audience sees, and you always talk up the other guys you have on. I don't know, I don't hate you, but I'm just kind of done with this mentality in general. Mikey Mitch on that stream said that TwizzFizz got upset about a story he told her about a one-night stand he had with a girl, and she tries to make a point about Mitch using women for comedy. Now this is all too familiar. This is the same kind of behavior that TwizzFizz was doing in the commentary community. Something that you need to remember was that this all happened in February, so when TwizzFizz got around in the commentary community in early July, he already knew how she was and he decided to warn Tommy about it. And oh boy, was he right about her. Oh yeah, there is also one more reason why they aren't friends anymore. Mitch claims that TwizzFizz said to him that he doesn't promote her as much on his platform. Honestly, this is such a stupid reason. I see the main takeaway from this is that TwizzFizz just wanted to distance herself from their community and was just making up whatever sort of excuse to justify her leaving. They did end up having one more feud with each other, and that was actually started from Mitch. He says this to her in the DMs. Will I ever get to find out why you nuked our friendship when I was at my lowest point, putting on a brave face, pretending I wasn't sad at all about my divorce? When at the same time you'll stick up for Bald Man, or am I worse than him? It's nearly been 4 months, and I'm still sad our friendship died because I considered you a friend, and not just some YouTuber. I'm tired of having to pretend nothing happened because every time I have to pretend, I just get depressed about it all over again. Yeah, Mitch got upset with TwizzFizz because she stopped being friends with him over the stuff he said and done. But at the same time, during the content nuke, she stood up for Keemstar, who is arguably worse than Mitch is. And from what I could tell, a lot of the reasoning why this matters so much to Mitch is because at the time he saw them as friends. From this, we get our final brain-dead TwizzFizz talking point. In response to Mikey Mitch, she says this. I did consider you a friend and tried to be there for you, but all I heard from you was bragging about leaving. You seem to be proud of leaving in the middle of the day and cutting the CCTV so much that you said it on a podcast. So yes, I was going to question that. When I did, you just gave me your whole life story, and I didn't know how to respond at the time. You, however, wasted no time in shit-talking me on your Patreon podcast and to your friends. I know at least one blocked me, and that's what ended the friendship for me. In response to Keem, yeah, he's probably done worse than you, but I've never felt disrespected by him. You portrayed me as someone overly sensitive who couldn't take a simple divorce joke, when it was a lot of things you said and did that added up to me calling you out. At the end of the day, I believe you just don't bring that shit up in a podcast, just like how you shouldn't be bringing up walking out on your family in a podcast. This is what's so stupid about TwizzFizz. She tries to make this big deal about being disrespected by Mitch, but if you go back and try to look, what TwizzFizz is referring to is a stream that he did where he talks about being upset about losing that friendship. TwizzFizz is trying to take that stream and make herself into some sort of victim, like, oh, you were disrespecting me, which is just a bunch of bullshit. I believe that the point in showing this situation is that it establishes a pattern of behavior for TwizzFizz, where she gets offended by something, she starts spurging, disassociates from her friends, and then goes off on her own. We can see this play out when she did that towards Mitch's friend group, and when she worked her way into the commentary community, she did the exact same thing. So yeah, after that Mikey Mitch stream, that would be it for any big TwizzFizz related drama. She took down her streams and videos about Nick in the commentary community as well. And now she just does her own thing. She still makes videos, but based on the amount of views, likes, and comments she gets, it's pretty clear to me that TwizzFizz is pretty much irrelevant at this point.
What a shit show. Can we go back to forgetting who she was again?
So yeah, that's going to conclude episode 4 of the Hindsight podcast, TwizzFizz. I hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, I am your host, Exotic, and along with me we have Party117, Mike the Bike, and Twitter artist at Presnia on Twitter, aka Squatchin.
Well, anyways, if you want to check me out, I don't know, when is this podcast coming out? This weekend?
Oof, whenever I finish.
Okay, well, hopefully it'll come out before the end of the year. I've had fun here. I might have released my quote-unquote final parody, but you'll know what that means when this comes out, hopefully.
I guess I'll say goodbye here. I do not make any content anymore, so be sure to follow up on the podcast at Hindsight Law on Twitter or hit the subscribe button.
Party.
Hmm?
Come on, Party. Give a good intro or outro.
Intro.
You gotta, outro. You gotta do the same thing, but with more energy. Be like, yo, I don't make any content. You better follow us. Be like a macho man, Randy Savage on it.
And on that note, I don't make really any content anymore, but you should follow the podcast. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like. Follow us on Twitter at Hindsight Law.
I would like to remind everyone that if you hop over to my Twitter page and check out my pinned tweet, yes, I am indeed taking commissions now. Feel free to DM me for any of your artsy-fartsy needs, and we can work something out.
All right, then. So that's going to be episode 4 of the Hindsight podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
All right.
He's like, if you guys like Nick DeOrio, be nice to Nick DeOrio. If you guys don't like Nick DeOrio, stay clear from Nick DeOrio. If you're around Nicholas DeOrio, pretend that you like him.
It was just so funny.
Like, we gotta stay clear from the fucking kingpin, bro.
Yeah, really.
Holy shit, man. Yeah.
Bro, that's so fucking good. But by the way, if you say something mean, well, we're gonna delete your comment.
Yeah, 100%. And report it, because fuck you. My mental health.
We're gonna block you and delete your. Yeah, we're gonna report you.
N plus ratio.
L plus ratio.
Yeah, L plus ratio.
L plus ratio.
N plus ratio? Oh my god. We probably won't get to there in a long time, but
No, I'm not touching Pokemon with a 10-foot pole. No.
Okay.
Pokemon? Hey, Pokemon, I'm calling you out. You're a dumb bitch. There you go.
All right.
Okay.
Yep, there's a call out.
That's the response before the Hindsight episode on Pokemon, which probably will come out. I don't know. Who knows?
In a while.
That would have to be like a. That would be a long. That would have to be like a 2-parter or something like
saga.
that.
We would have to like pre-record them, and then it would be like 4 weeks out of the month. It'd be like video after video after video, and we still probably wouldn't cover the whole fucking thing.
There's so much drama with that woman.
All right.